Project Heritage presents Canopy Kids on ECTV.
Keep working, I'm working on my core.
The hidden part of me that makes me who I am is my core, yeah. Way down deep inside where only God can see is my core. When I'm worshiping, praying, when I practice all that God's saying, when I'm listening, reading, then my spirit I am feeding, working on my core.
Keep working, I'm working on my core.
Working on my core, working on my core, keep working on my core.
Keep working, I'm working on my core.
Working on my core, working on my core.
The choices that I make start down deep inside, in my core, in my core. The things I think about and friendships in my life build my core, build my core. When I'm worshiping, praying, when I practice all that God's saying, when I'm listening, reading, then my spirit I am feeding on my core.
Keep working, I'm working on my core.
Working on my core, working on my core, keep working on my core.
Keep working, I'm working on my core.
Working on my core, working on my core. Hallelujah, my God is holy, He is majestic, my God is mighty.
He's my protector, my God is worthy. All of my life I'm gonna give Him glory. I'm working on my core,
Keep working,
yeah.
I'm working on my core.
Working on my core,
My core,
working on my core,
my
keep
heart.
working on my core.
Keep working, I'm working on my core.
Working on my core, working on my core, keep working on my core. Working on my core, working on my core, keep working on my core.
Every day,
Working, I'm working
work on my core. Yeah, I build my core. Working on my core. Yeah, reading, listening, and praying, and worshiping. I'm working on my core.
Hello, kids. I'm back with you again as we continue our exciting journey in the series Living in Goshen. How was your week learning about those pesky locusts and looking back at hail and thinking about lice and frogs and water turning into blood? It was so fantastic. I hope you enjoyed the break. Okay, let me see if you can remember the order of the plagues up until this point, because we only have 2 more to go. So we started with plague number 1, which was what? Yes, the River Nile, which was crystal clear, turned red and the waters turned into blood. Very good. After that was what? You got it. My favorite amphibians, the plague of the frogs. Yuck. But remember, kids, frogs are important for the environment. Okay. And then what happened in the 3rd plague? What was that plague? Very good. It was the plague of the lice. Followed by what? Thumbs up. Squadron. It was the flies. Woo! Flies to the north, flies to the south, flies to the east, and flies to the west. And what about the livestock? Well, I gave you that one, so I kind of spoiled it there. So the livestock was the next one, followed by what? Yay! The boils, also called what, kids? That's right, furuncles. And we had what next? Yes! Balls of ice falling from the sky, a form of precipitation called the hail. And finally, the eighth plague was the plague of the very good locusts. So, we have 2 more to go, as I said, and I'm not going to tell you what they are. You're going to have fun with the next one where you've learned a new song. And for this week, kids, we are going to hear from some of our parents how you have been enjoying the series of Living in Goshen. Now, here's a secret and a little project that I have for you. I want to know what your favorite episode was. And why was it your favorite episode? Can you do that for me? Can you send me a little video where I get to see and understand what your favorite episode was? I can't wait. So kids, remember, we love you. We are praying for you. And this week, we are going to look back at our mighty God who was able to be the creator of all these plagues to mash up hard-hearted Pharaoh and his empire. Because Pharaoh did not want to bow and acknowledge that our God is the only true and living God. So we are going to worship today. We magnify you. We're going to magnify and make bigger our mighty God. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Let's worship together.
So
kids, now you can catch Project Heritage online anytime and on any device. Project Heritage Canopy Kids is now on YouTube. Yay! Just visit the Elijah Center channel on YouTube and subscribe today. Subscribing is easy. Visit www.youtube.com/Elijah Center Global or open the YouTube app and search for Elijah Center Global. Then click the subscribe button. See you online!
Living in Goshen, an audio drama podcast which gives a creative presentation of the experience of the Israelites during the plagues in Egypt, based on the account in the Bible. Some characters and dialogue have been added for dramatic effect. Living in Goshen is brought to you by Elijah Center's Project Heritage.
A long time ago, when Moses walked the land, God told him, "Take your brother Aaron with his staff in his hand. Go to the ruler over Egypt, the one they call Pharaoh. Tell him, I command him, let the Israelites go." They did exactly as God said, Moses and Aaron. They told Pharaoh what God had said, but he would not listen. So God commanded Moses, "Strike the water with that rod." Then all the water in Egypt turned into blood. Our story does not end there. There is so much more to tell. So sit up, pay attention. Now is the time to listen well.
Egypt is a land with a powerful ruler called Pharaoh. The land of Egypt is lush and filled with fruit trees and flowering plants, towering buildings called pyramids, and glorious statues of different pharaohs. The land of Egypt is where both the Israelites and Egyptians live. The Egyptians are rich and powerful. They love riding their chariots, tending their livestock, swimming in the Nile River, and eating foods like melons, figs, honey, beef, and fish. The Israelites are slaves, and they live in the city of Goshen. They work very hard in the scorching sun to build the Egyptian statues and pyramids. They are beaten by the Egyptians at times to do their work more quickly. The Israelites love and follow the Lord, but the Egyptians serve many gods.
Mommy, who is that man?
His name is Moses, Abigail.
Why are the Egyptian people shouting at him?
Well, they are angry because of what he told Pharaoh.
What did he say to Pharaoh?
He told Pharaoh to let us leave Egypt, or God will send 10 plagues to destroy Egypt.
What is a plague?
A plague is something that causes great trouble.
Oh, I see. The Egyptians are angry because they don't want any trouble.
That's right, Abby. Coming.
Jasmine, have you heard?
Heard what?
The waters, all the waters are red. They've turned into blood.
Mommy, if the waters are red with blood, then how can we take a bath?
The water in Goshen is fine, Abby. God will keep us safe.
It is true, Mom. The water is fine, just like you said. God is keeping us safe and we will be okay.
Yes, but what do we have to do?
Obey all that God says at all times.
Welcome back, children. hope you have given some thought to what can happen to us when we don't do what we ought. Remember Pharaoh? He disobeyed God's command, and water turned to blood all across the land. 7 days later, God told Moses, "Go back to Pharaoh. Tell him, again I said, let the Israelites go." But Pharaoh would not listen to Moses or to God, so the entire land was covered by a plague of frogs.
What's that? Can you hear it, Daddy?
Yes, love, I can. It sounds like people are screaming over in the capital. I wonder what is going on.
Frogs! Oh, yuck! There are so many!
Oh my, that is not a good sign. They must be all over the Egyptian houses.
It's amazing that with so many frogs over there, we don't have any here in Goshen. Why is that, Dad?
I think God is doing something. Remember last week when the water in Egypt turned to blood but not in Goshen? Once we continue to be obedient, God will not treat us the way He does the Egyptians. He will keep us safe during the crisis.
Pharaoh summoned Moses. "Moses, pray to the Lord. Take away these frogs from Egypt," Pharaoh implored. Moses prayed. The frogs died and were gathered into a pile. The only frogs left were those living in the Nile. The Egyptians were relieved, but Pharaoh's heart was full of meanness. Moses had kept his word, but Pharaoh did not keep his promise to set the Israelites free to offer God their sacrifice. So God told Aaron, "Strike the ground," and the ground turned to lice.
Akeem is 8 years old and lives in Egypt. He and his friend Ramsey are playing in the field.
Tag! You're it!
All of a sudden, the ground seems to be moving as if it were alive.
Lice!
Meanwhile, at Pharaoh's palace, Pharaoh is speaking to his magicians.
Magicians? Show me that you can copy this play immediately!
My Pharaoh, we have tried, but this is indeed the hand of God Himself.
Ah!
Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tomorrow, as Pharaoh heads to the river, confront him along the way, and this message you must deliver. The Lord says, 'Free my people so that they may worship me, or I will send a plague of flies, the worst you'll ever see. Swarms of flies will cover Egypt by this time tomorrow. Every Egyptian will be afflicted, even you, the Pharaoh. But I will make a distinction between your people and mine. There will be no flies in Goshen. Take this as a sign." Sure enough, the following day, Egypt was ruined by flies. What do you think happened in Goshen? Let's listen and be wise.
In a secret military location in Egypt, a captain is issuing final orders to his elite fly squad in preparation for their next mission, Operation Egypt.
Squad, we have received our orders. None shall escape in Egypt.
None shall escape.
What about Goshen, Captain? We can't.
No, not Goshen. Our ground troops have all reported total failure on that front. Blood, frogs, lice. None have been able to infiltrate Goshen. Seems there's some kind of force field around that city.
Understood, Captain.
Meanwhile, in Goshen, 11-year-old Jesse awakes to a new day.
Dad, it looks very weird outside. Dad, is that sound the flies?
Yes, those are the flies.
There must be 1 billion of them, Dad. It sounds like an army.
Don't worry, Jesse. Don't you see? As Moses said, once we, the Israelites, continue to obey God, we will be protected from all the terrible plagues in Egypt. This is because God is making a distinction between the Israelites and the Egyptians.
Distinction? What does that mean, Dad?
It means that while the Egyptians are being affected by the plagues, nothing will happen to the Israelites here in Goshen.
Once again, Pharaoh summoned Moses to his great palace. "Pray away these flies, and I'll free the Israelites, I promise." But Moses did not trust Pharaoh, who had deceived him in the past. He knew that once the flies were gone, Pharaoh's promise would not last. Still, Moses prayed to the Lord, and the flies did indeed depart. But Pharaoh would not free God's people. Instead, he hardened his heart. So God sent Pharaoh a warning. This is what he said: "Free my people, or all Egyptian livestock will be dead." Egyptian livestock dead? What about the livestock there in Goshen? You're sure to find out, kids, if you're prepared to listen.
Pharaoh, this is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. Let my people go, so that they may worship me. If you do not let them go, the hand of the Lord will bring a terrible plague on your livestock in the field.
The sound of pandemonium rings out as the plague begins to take effect in Egypt. Even the animals are wondering what's going on.
Have you all heard? Something very strange is happening. All our neighbors are dying.
I heard 300 pigs, 500 goats, and 200 camels dropped dead just like that. This situation is bad.
That's absolutely terrible! It is only a matter of time before it hits the rest of us. I'm moving out of here!
But where will you go?
I'm moving to Goshen! I am sure the animals there are safe. Are you coming?
No, I feel very sick.
Oh no! Horse!
As Pharaoh hardened his heart, God continued with his plans. He sent yet another plague upon the Egyptians. He told Moses and Aaron, "From a furnace take the ashes and toss them into the air while Pharaoh watches. The ashes will turn to fine dust over all of Egypt. Every person, every animal will be stricken. None shall be skipped." When Moses throws the ashes up into the air, painful boils on all Egyptians will suddenly appear. Painful boils? That sounds terrible. So listen up, my friend, if you want to know what Moses did and what happened in the end.
That morning, while Sarah played with her doll on her bed, she looked up to see a spider overhead. She was not afraid like she had been before. She knew God protected everyone in Goshen for sure.
Good morning, Daddy. Where's Mom?
She is in bed.
In bed? During the day? Is Mom sick?
No, Sarah, your mom is just extremely tired after staying up all night. God has been bringing several plagues on the Egyptians. Yesterday, all the Egyptians broke out in big boils. Even their animals too, Sarah. The boils hurt a lot, so all the people and animals were crying. The people doctors and animal doctors can no longer cope. There's just too many people and animals affected by the boils.
I saw 700 patients yesterday. Over 1,000 already for today. And still more patients keep coming. I simply cannot keep up.
I know what you mean. It is the same with the animals. People are lining up for miles for me to treat their sick animals, but I can't save them all. We have already lost so much of our livestock in the last plague. I need help, but there is no one. Everyone is afflicted.
I hope we don't get those horrible boils too. They must look very ugly.
Well, boils are never attractive, but I can tell you this. God is less interested in how we look in the outside. He pays attention to the appearances of our spirit.
I get it. If we keep our spirits pure and refuse to sin, God will continue to protect us so we don't have to be afraid of those plagues, right, Dad?
Exactly. Now come have your lunch while it's still hot.
So Sarah sat down to eat with her dad. She had learnt a lot from the talk that they had. Once her spirit was clean, she need not fear. God would not allow any plague near.
Join us next time for Canopy Kids on ECTV.